Hi YouTube, it's Adrian again and Bernard here to bring you a video on UFO and other fascinating subjects. Bernard is going to share with us today about his friends that he went to Korea with. Well, one of his friends he went to Korea and the other one he went to Germany. He's going to explain more about them and their interest in UFOs. Go ahead, Bernard. It's all on you now.
My two friends, one who went to Korea and one who went to Germany, we came back March of 1955, around the neighborhood. One thing we had in common was the guy in Germany said he was out in the fields 6 months out of a year. Mm-hmm. And he said he saw these strange lights in the sky. He saw these things too. My friend in Korea had a sighting where he describes it in this book, the book that he wrote.
Let our viewers see this book. And if you guys can get a good look at it.
He became the head when he moved to Columbus, Ohio in the 60s, mid or late 60s. He became the head of a UFO organization. Mm-hmm. He had a sighting that was really something. And I'll read it to you. It's short, it's not long. And what made him get into this field.
Did you tell the viewers the exact name of the entire?
Oh, the name of the book is called Phenomenon Investigation Committee. Short is P.i.c. P.i.c. He said it wasn't until my military participation in the Korean War in 1952 that I found the truth of my convictions. It was a huge valley that separated the enemy forces from ours, referred to as the MLR, the main line of resistance. We were engaged in harassing fire back and forth in the darkness. That's the enemy from hill to hill. This consisted of small arms fire and occasional artillery. Suddenly a bright light appeared over Hill 391. From a distance it looked like a large ball of fire, and some GIs ran for cover. Its altitude was approximately 1,000 feet and nearly 1,200 yards from our positions. It moved slowly through the valley. I could see that it was an extremely large sphere giving off a brilliant orange glow. It looked about 100 feet across and made no audible sound. That's what seemed to baffle everybody. No sound. Its speed was 30 to 40 miles per hour. Both sides stopped firing. Yes, the witnesses of the sighting were so spellbound, they forgot the war and watched as the craft shot off into the night at unbelievable speed to eventually look like a star in the cold, dark Korean sky. The war was eventually over and everyone soon returned home to resume their life. But Don returned with something that others didn't. He retained forever the memory of that night and soon began a quest that carried him through years of investigation and ultimately to the creation of this, his manual. It's called a UFO Research Manual. But that's what
hold it up and let our viewers see it a little better for a few seconds.
That's what got him into researching and organizing a UFO organization.
And his name was Donald
Jernigan.
Jernigan.
I went to visit him in the sometime in the around 1974. When I went out there, fortunately,
to Columbus, Ohio.
Fortunately, when I went there, they had just closed a UFO convention in Cleveland, Ohio, and some of the dignitaries were in his basement when I arrived at his house. He took me down in his basement and he announced, he introduced me to everybody. And he also said to them, how we grew up. And then he said I was a Rosicrucian. A lady who was sitting there said, "Oh, Professor Hynek is a Rosicrucian."
As everyone might, or who might not know, Professor Hynek was in charge of Project Blue Book.
Yeah. And he was part of the Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was they showed him at the end. He was part of, since he knew about UFO, he was what they call somebody who gave information for them to make the movie, how to make it. But I found out like she was the secretary, his secretary. That's how I found out he was a Rosicrucian. I stayed there for a couple of days, and then I left and came on back home. but that was it as far as he was concerned about his into UFOs. My other friend from Germany, he saw these things, but he never pursued it. He just went on with his life.
Could you tell us, if you know anything, what did he tell you about his sighting that you can remember?
My friend in Germany?
Yes.
He just said he saw these lights in the sky that would move all kinds of... They had no sound to it. He'd see these lights moving from one end and then crossing and doing things that were odd. But that's all he saw. He never, not had really a close sighting.
Was it a day sighting or night sighting?
No, mostly night sightings, yeah. Yeah, night sightings.
Was it over a base or...?
No, it was in the fields. Because
Okay.
he said the group, his thing, spent 6 months out of a year in the fields training. And he said when they were in the fields...
what base or...?
No, I don't know the base. I know only it was in Germany.
That's all you can know.
Yeah. But when we all came back...
Was it 1952?
Yeah, he went there in 1952. Same as we did. We all split up at the same time. And we all were discharged around the same time.
So when you guys got back together in Harlem after the war and when you guys all reunited, when you guys each mentioned your, story of what had happened, what was the reaction with you three guys?
Well, I guess it was a relief to know that others had experienced the same thing. It was just, I don't, that's way back in 1955, so I don't remember what, everything about it. But I know it was a relief that my friends, we didn't have to try to explain anything. We all saw it, so it wasn't something like we were crazy. One was crazy if it was the only one that saw it, But,
So what else can you tell us about Don and his organization and things that he found out about UFOs besides his own encounter?
Oh, when in his search, he met a well-known person, but I can't remember his name, whereby he was invited, a group of his certain amount of people in his organization was invited to his house, and he was shown photos of autopsies being done on alien beings, and they had the doctor's name and everything on it. He sent me a letter. I don't have that with me down here, but he sent me a letter dealing with that. I don't know who else he ever gave that to.
Was that from the Roswell crash?
No, yes, from the Roswell crash. The bodies that they had gotten and were doing autopsies on them. Yeah.
It's rumored that some of those bodies were taken to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
That's what they say. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say. Yeah.
And Don, did he give you anything on that, or?
No,
Any
he
information?
passed in 2008. No, 2008. No, before that, I think. Around that time, a little after, I think.
How old was he when he passed?
He was old. He was about 1.5 years older than I am now. I'm 79 right now. So he was a year and a half older than myself. Yeah. But his experience was something.
What is left of his records that he has about with his organization?
That I don't know. Oh, what happened was, when I got that letter from him about the autopsies of these alien beings, I emailed it to all my friends, because I wanted them to get interested and know something about what's happening. And I get a call from Stanton Friedman.
Oh.
Now, he was not on my email list.
In case you guys don't know, Stanton Friedman, he's a big ufologist, very well known in the field. I believe he's a nuclear physicist.
Nuclear physicist, right.
Yes. You can look him up to find out who he is. Yeah, I'm sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah, he called me because somehow somebody in that group that I emailed, he must have known him. And they gave him this information that I talked about the alien thing. He wanted to know more about Don. He didn't know he was passed. He had passed. I don't think. Yes, he did, because he got the information. All right. But what he wanted to know was if I knew the individuals in his group. He wanted to contact them. But I told him I didn't know them. So I don't know what happened after that. But I was surprised to see that he called me on that. Somebody knew him.
Mm-hmm. I know you had told me about him and Bigfoot.
Oh, yes.
Bigfoot.
Yes, my friend also in Columbus, Ohio, if a sighting had been said to have occurred, seeing Bigfoot, if it was not too far from him, they'd go to the area. And he called me one day because he knew my wife was capable of holding objects and being able to see things. She was good at this. She was good at this paranormal stuff, or whatever you want to call it. But he called me one day. He said, "Hey, Red." He called me Red. He said, "Look, I was at a place where they said Bigfoot was, and I saw his footprints, and I picked up a hair." He said, "What I'm going to do, I'm going to send it to you. I want you to give it to Dolly to hold and see what she sees."
And for the viewers who don't know, Dolly is Bernard's wife, who had passed away.
Yeah, she was my wife for 47 years. She passed away in 2008. She was a singer with the big bands at that time, big band era. Anybody who was up in the age, she sang with Erskine Hawkins. They might know him if they're up in the age, you know.
Well, I look forward to and our viewers will look forward to the video that we'll do on Dolly.
Okay, yeah. Stanton Freeman?
Yes.
Oh, okay. After that, I heard no more about it, because I don't know if he got in contact with the people in some way or what. But I'm getting lost off track on where I was supposed to go with this.
With Don?
Yeah, Don. Oh, Bigfoot. He called, like I said, he called me and told me to give this hair. He's going to mail it to me. He's going to mail this hair to me, to give it to my wife to hold. He said, "Don't tell her what it is." I said, "Oh, don't worry. You don't have to worry about that. I won't know if she can see it. I don't know if she sees." Well, when she got home one day and she got relaxed, I said, "Dolly, I want you to hold something." She sat down, and I had a pencil and a pad to write down whatever she was going to say. I told her to close her eyes. She closed her eyes, and I put the hair in her hand and closed her hand up. And I sat down waiting for her to say something. It took a while. I didn't think she was going to see anything. All of a sudden, she said, "I'm in a forest. I see all trees all around me." She said, "I see a body of water." I won't go through it all, but she sees a body of water. She explained certain things. She explained a cave that she went into. And she always kept saying at certain periods of time, "What am I? Who am I?" She couldn't seem to figure out who she was. But she saw, in the forest, she said she saw, she heard a lot of noise from above her head. And there was a light shining down through the trees light. She said about the cave, when she went into this cave, she could see so clearly. She said she saw something that looked like stairways. But I wrote all this down. And then the next day I called my friend and told him all about what she had said. He took the information. About several days later, he called me and said, we found the cave. He said what she saw in there looked like steps were not steps. They were where water runs somewhere and comes out and runs and makes little grooves.
Like a stream.
Yeah, like over a period of time it leaves little grooves to the ground wherever it's running. He said that's what she saw. But she was good at this. She saw.
This was in Columbus, Ohio, where he went and found this cave?
Yes. It was in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, in the hair. The hair he found from a footstep that was around somebody's house when they went to investigate this. But I have no doubt now that because of what she saw in this, that Bigfoot exists. Because I've seen her do other things, and she's remarkable. She was remarkable at that, doing that. She had friends that she could hold this, and she would see the streams of events that they had been through in their lives, and they would say, "Dolly, how do you do that?" She was good at that.
All right, YouTube. That's the video that we're doing on Bernard's friends that went into the service with him. Thank you for watching, and we're going to post up some more videos. Hopefully you guys will watch them and pass them along, as we really appreciate that to get more viewers. Thank you.